May 1st, this year, 2025, the Disney Hollywood Studios, used to be Disney-MGM Studios, opened in 1989, May 1st. This year, 2025, it'll be 36 years old. I'm the same age as this theme park. I grew up with this theme park, watching it grow and lose its identity, change, and then blossom into something that has become a timeless, in a way, tribute to what it was before, a real working movie studio. And since May 1st is just around the corner, there's going to be a lot of Disney-MGM, videos, tribute videos looking back, because we're past 35. 35 was a good year. I doubt they'll do anything for the 36 like they did 35th. 35 is like a monumental. But it's like, hey, let's look back at an old park map from 1989, from opening day until they changed, whenever they updated it. And let's see where everything was. I'm going to walk around the entire park, show you where everything was, including restaurants, some gift shops, attractions. There were not many. And we'll see how much has changed. I haven't really ever done this. I've shown random things here and there, but I've never actually taken a park map, walked in. I have it all on my phone, scanned it all, got it on my phone, and show you where everything was, and maybe you can remember. I'm not inserting any photos on this. I'm just kind of talk about where and what. So it's going to be a little different, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, let's take a closer look. Someone's screaming on the Skyliner. People are funny. I love this entrance. Oh, I just heard the explosion over at Indiana Jones Epic Stuntacular, or Stunt Spectacular. Everyone just calls it Epic, and it's not the Epic you're thinking of. All right, obviously this was the front entrance. Let's head into the park. I love this entrance here. I've talked about it many times. It was created in the style of an amphitheater out in California. When it first opened, it was a real working studio and theme park. That was the difference between anything Disney had ever done before. Bo, I still can't find any documentation on you. I'm working on it, buddy. I'm wondering if you're opening day. Right here is the ice cold Coca-Cola stand. Let's look at the map and see if this was here. Bo, if this was and you were from opening day, you weren't listed on the park map. They only talk about Oscars and it being a gift shop. You used to get souvenirs here at Oscars, and now it has changed. See right, oh, look at that. Classic car souvenirs, but it's also the strollers and wheelchairs. So I guess they still consider this a gift shop. To me, it's only the strollers and wheelchairs. But if you go inside, see the entrance this way, take a cruise in one of our strollers. It doesn't say anything about, souvenirs except for the name of the place, which is right up here. Look, classic car souvenirs, rentals. If you walk inside, look, they do have full merchandise in here. That's cool. I thought it was just a place to rent things. They got their own Oscars motor oil there. They got their own Oscars motor oil there, but they also have ears but yeah, they do have strollers, and they have wheelchairs and everything for you to rent. Oh, there's even souvenir pennies in here. Cool, right? But I never really paid attention to Oscars. I was always focused on the crossroads of the world, which the Mickey up top, I believe it says right ear, is made of copper because he's a lightning rod. But this is a souvenir place as well, based off a real place in California that is now, I believe, either residence or private, like apartment. I don't know if those are apartments or, like people renting, or do they own them. But this is still souvenirs here at the crossroads. I love the old architecture of this. And you can pick up some snazzy sunglasses. Look at these. This looks like something you would totally wear at the MGM studios back in the day. Oh look, they got even some classics here. And then right across the street, now this has changed quite a bit, but it's still Sid Cahenga's one-of-a-kind Tinseltown photos. It used to be one-of-a-kind collectibles, and it was everything that he collected because Sid lived here, and Hollywood kind of grew up all around him, and he would visit all the sets and take things from the sets, and he would sell them in his house. That's the story that Disney created. So all this stuff would be from a film. See what I mean? And then right here, this Dalmatian has a unique print right there. But it still has collectibles on the inside, but it's different. And it's just like I remember it. A lot of memorabilia, a lot of autographs. But you used to be able to buy these. I don't know if you can buy these now. I don't think you can. But this is signed by Annette and Frankie Avalon. Beach Party, I love that movie. Beach Party's great. Look at that. Dick Dale and the Deltones. That's neat. Other autographs here. Tippi Hedren autograph right there on the Alfred Hitchcock. But that's Sid's, and that's the story of Sid's. And they used to have a Sid Cahenga here when it first opened who would talk to people. Kind of cool. They had like a real life character here. But now we're going to walk down. I'm going to show you this on the map. Check this out. When the park first opened, everything created a Mickey. Right here is the Great Movie Ride where my thumb is. And we're standing right here at the front. It's changed a bit over the years, but it still is kind of the shape of a Mickey down there. If you didn't know that, now you do. Now all the gift shops here, as you first walk in on Hollywood Boulevard, are still the same from when it first opened. The dark room here, next to Cover Story, across from Pluto's Toy Palace and Mickey's of Hollywood. All of this is still the same. However, at the very end of here, right next to where Vine Street is, this has changed to a Starbucks. And continuing from Disney Company, Keystone Clothers was also here opening day. Where this was Adrian and Edith's head to toe, this was the sweet shop. You could go in here and get a little pastry or probably a cupcake. It was like a little Main Street bakery. And then next door, this is gonna blow your mind. Now long before this was Starbucks, and but even before that, this was Pacific Electric Pictures, which is why it still says Pacific Electric right up here at the very top above. 1928, which you all know is a nod to Mickey's birthday. Now you could star in your own home video version of a Hollywood spectacular here, and you get personalized quote-unquote star merchandise inside this building. That's crazy. That's what they used to do in there. You could do two things of film here. That's amazing. You do a music video, and then you could do a classic Hollywood picture and buy them, take them home. That was something of yesteryear. They just don't do in theme parks anymore because they don't have to. We have filming devices in our hands like I have. But this was about where this area ended, because you would walk over here and they had a small stage. You would walk right over here and all of this would end because they did not open Sunset Boulevard until 1994. And where this Legends Theater is right here, Legends of Hollywood, this used to be a stage, and they did not have a name for the show. It says in the the map, get this, this is a lively song and dance stage show about movies featuring Disney characters. No name of the show, no name of the stage, nothing. I think they had plans to open this in 1994, and they knew it was eventually going to happen. So yeah, Sunset Boulevard, from here, okay, right here, this is all you would have. You had Sweet Success here, and then back over here, you had nothing. All this is brand new. Now this building over here, the Brown Derby, was here. Let's walk over. And something you might not ever pay attention to, I love this, the Pacific Electric Railway. Because the Pacific Electric Railway over there is where you would make the videos. And here's Los Angeles. That Alhambra. I ate at the In-N-Out Burger there all the time because right over here is South Pasadena. I film a lot in South Pasadena. That's so crazy. You start looking and you can see all the different street names and places that you know. Van Nuys, here's San Fernando, Chatsworth, where they filmed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Crazy. I love this. It's a nice little tie-in. And all of this was here. And as you would make your way over to the Hollywood Brown Derby, there was a little restaurant over here you could also eat at. And it was called Starring Rolls, and it was right over here in this little back area. They closed it up completely, but you could get muffins, bread, cookies, pastries, and beverages in here. They might use this as a break space now, but I remember going in here a couple of years ago and getting cinnamon rolls. But if you would look over here, all you would see is that stage over there where you can sing and tap dance to random Disney characters, the No Name Show. Now this little directory right here has definitely changed since 1989, but across the way here, the Hollywood Brown Derby was here opening day. They even talked about the Cobb salad and mentioned reservations, so it was a popular place from opening day. You know, even here in 2025, it's still a very popular place. Now, right behind it, that big blue building there, there's been countless things. Different restaurants, shows. Big Bear in the Blue House had a show there. There was an Aladdin restaurant at one point. There was even a studio themed, like Backlot themed restaurant. And now this was the big one. The reason they had this here is it looks like a studio's entrance, right? Well, that's why. This was the original entrance to the Backlot studio tour. And before this was Star Wars launch bay, this is where you would walk in and see the magic of Disney animation and the official Backlot tour of this park, where they would take you to where we used to take the Backlot tour later years. This is actually where you would go in. They would later change the entrance to over by Streets of America and where the Ninja Turtles used to perform. But before we get into that, this used to be the Soundstage restaurant. That's right, they had another restaurant over here right next to the Brown Derby. Like I said, this was the Soundstage restaurant, and it was themed to the smash hit Big Business, which is a movie that they filmed here at the Disney Hollywood Studios with Bette Midler. Isn't that crazy? It was a pizza and pasta shop, sandwich, soups and salads, and that was the entrance right there. This was the entrance to the restaurant. Now it's a part of the Disney Junior Live. Also inside the Soundstage restaurant, they have a place called the Catwalk Bar, suspended above the Soundstage restaurant, featuring beer, wine, cocktails, and specialty drinks. That's cool. They had a bar inside there. You would go over here, and there was a huge line right here, and they would take you inside and put you on a tram and take you to the Backlot tour and show you Golden Girl's house, Vern's house from Ernest Saves Christmas, all the Backlot stuff, including Catastrophe Canyon. But it all started in this building here when you would come see the animation tour. You would go back in and you will go see a film called Back to Neverland, which was Walter Cronkite and Robin Williams. Then you would enter a remarkable world of real animation studio. They would show you story, animation, cleanup, effects, background, photocopy and process, paint lab, inking and painting, animation, selling, and editing. Then they also had a gift shop, an animation gallery, which was right over here to the side, and you could pick up some animation cells and everything. Inside this building is where Michael Eisner opened the official grand opening special of the Disney-MGM studios. I found it years ago, the room. You no longer have access to that room, so it's a thing of the past. But let's go inside and I'm going to show you where everything kind of was in a way. So as you were walking to the studio, right over here was the old animation building, and this is where they did all the animation stuff. And right over here is where the trams would pick you up for the Backlot tour. That was the tram pickup. They have it blocked off and stuff now, but you can still see it to the side. I'm not sure what was in this building. Let's look at the map. Okay, so maybe this was the original gift shop right here when this first opened, and they had all the stuff. I can't remember. I remember going in there with Mushu back in the day, but I know you would go in here and you could see the animators. All of this was a part of the Disney animation. They used to have handprints right over here of Walt's 9 old men. Ollie Johnson, a few others, all were here. It's been removed, but you can still kind of get the vibe of the animation studio here. Right here, now they do have this one blacked out, I'm not sure why, but if you continue walking, this used to be an animator's little studio, if you will, like their office. Like they had their desk all down here, and that's where they were drawing like Roger Rabbit or any kind of like film, or most of this was like stuff you could buy in the gift shops. But this is where the animators used to sit, and you could walk over here and just watch them work. It was kind of an interesting time. See, I told you they have it blocked off, but right through here, back in the day, you used to be able to walk in and it would go to the other side of the building there. But that's where Michael Eisner was when he opened the park officially for the special. And that's the old animation building right there. You can see the windows still. That's like the real animation building where they picked you up for the tram tour also. Let's continue though. And this is like the last bit of anything that has this style, the black, red, yellow, and blue from the Backlot tour. That's it right there. And it was a part of this store, which is yet to reopen. It was called the Studio Store. I love this. This is so 80s. They don't make this kind of stuff anymore. Now before this was Little Mermaid, and it has been removed because they're going to be reopening it with the new show. This was the Walt Disney Theater. And they would take you here on your last stop of the Backlot tour. Here in this courtyard, this was your last stop. And they would show you sneak peeks of new Disney attractions that were coming. That's kind of cool. Oh, I see you there, Hidden Fish. You'll be back soon. Very, very soon. All right, let's continue. We're going to be heading down the little production area here. All of this were production and sound stages. A lot of them have been changed and removed. Let's talk about it. Well, something happened to my camera. The audio was lost. Just for this short little bit of me talking about the sound stages. Very weird. But I was talking about how this sound stage that's connected to One Man's Dream used to be just a little bit different. I talked about how this was the entrance to Walt Disney Presents One Man's Dream. And if you went to the left-hand side of this soundstage, it used to go out just a little further here where this DVC little stand is set up right here. And then my finger is showing you where it used to cross. There used to be a walkway between two sound stages. Now that is Walt Disney Presents, the DVC area, and that is Toy Story Midway Mania building right there in the bathroom. If you continued walking down this direction, that soundstage straight ahead, that one I'm pointing at right there, is a part of the Great Movie Ride. It's actually the Great Movie Ride, but it looked like it fit here because all these buildings over here used to be sound stages. They did so many different productions down here, and they utilized all these buildings for what it was, a real working TV and movie studio. Now this is Toy Story Midway Mania, but I do make my way all the way to the back. Oh yeah, by the way, the left-hand side is still Great Movie Ride. That's how big that ride was in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Over here next to the A113 little nod, this used to be a television and production center here, and they would do all kinds of different things and film different things here. I don't know what happened to my audio, but it picks up here in just a second. So thanks for bearing with me. So yeah, when you're walking down here, just know all of this has changed. And this used to be a big production center. So now we're walking towards Toy Story Land. Used to, there'd be a walkway right here that connected the sound stages to each other. And see, this is a little piece of the old production center right here. This is the Roy Disney Production Center. And as you walk by, you can also see the old animation building. But these are old sound stages. Like, that's so crazy. And production centers. Countless TV shows, film, and animation was made in these walls, in these buildings. It's so cool to me that they actually had that stuff in Florida. That building in the back right there is the animation building as you're walking in to Toy Story Land. And straight ahead used to be where the Eiffel Tower used to sit, right past Woody over here. Right up here is Jesse and Rex. And then right over there is where the Eiffel Tower used to sit. And there's a parking garage right there for the production studio. now used for cast members, managers. Here it comes. Let's continue the tour because we're technically on the Backlot tour right now.
Wait, did you see that?
Yep.
That Slinky Dog sure is fast.
Yes, it is. See you, Jesse. And right over here, this was the costuming and the scenic shop over there. You can see the green buildings. That was all a part of that. As you enter into Galaxy's Edge. Now, none of this was here, obviously. As you made your way over here, this was Residential Street, where they had different buildings and houses, and where they had different residents who lived here, including the Golden Girls and a man named Vern.
Sir, did you find what you were looking for?
You said you deployed patrol units, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir, I did.
I ask because I didn't see them.
Sir!
I want stormtroopers crawling this outpost. Till we have what we need, no one rests. You don't rest. Understood?
Troopers! I want recon and patrol units swarming the streets. If that spy is here, we will find her. Failure is not an option for any of us. Understood? Move out.
And they also had the house from Empty Nest. They also used this area for filming on different Disney specials, the opening of The Wonderful World of Disney, Splash 2, which was a direct sequel to Splash, but made for The Wonderful World of Disney, I believe. But this right here, this is where Vern's house was in Ernest Saves Christmas. I talked about that a million times. It was right over here in the cantina where that house was, and right across over in this area over here, this was where the Golden Girls house was. It's totally changed. It's absolutely changed so much. Could you imagine 1989 walking into this place and seeing that? I think people would lose their minds. I mean, people lost their minds in 1989 when they walked in and saw the Golden Girls house, you know what I mean? Like, kind of crazy stuff. This is definitely something still brand new to me, this whole Star Wars concept inside this park. And no Streets of America. But right over here, behind all of this, that was where Catastrophe Canyon was, a part of the Backlot. We're going to continue our way up to Streets of America area. This was like a walking tour area of the Backlot tour. They would get you off the tram and you would be able to walk through the streets of New York and San Francisco, and it was a different time. Muppets had yet to open too. Now, some people claim that this is one of the feet from the Great Movie Ride in the Indiana Jones area when they've got the Covenant. One of the guys, their legs went straight up and they were holding up the ceilings. They say that's what this is from. I don't know if it is, but it would be cool if it was. A little piece of MGM, original MGM out here. Yeah, this whole area was Streets of America. You'd be walking around looking at different facades, and San Francisco area. Over here, this is all New York. Ninja Turtles way down there. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids play place. New York Library here. Used to light the tree for Osborne's over in this area. Amazing stuff. There's one little section that's still left. And I did a video walking the Streets of America and showing where everything was. Check out that episode, because I'm not really touching a whole lot on it because I have a lot more to cover. And that's it. That's all that remains of the Streets of America. This building here. It was also used in the opening of The Wonderful World of Disney in the late 80s, early 90s. My favorite building because of that. And to the left, you can see the soundstage still from Mickey and Minnie's. There used to be a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids banner up there. But the soundstage is still there because it's obviously a ride. but that just shows you the size of those sound stages. It takes up the whole like area back there. And Muppets had yet to open. All this was still walled up. They were still building it, and it's sad to say now that it's going to be going away. I can show you one more thing from the streets of America in here that actually used to be right down the street, right there at the subway, the fake subway entrance. Okay, if you come over to the Muppets Fountain and go up to Pizza Rizzo, to the very top floor, and you can see on the map right here next to my thumb, it just says Backlot. It doesn't even say Muppets. That's wild. But yeah, that's it. That's all that's left. Streets of America. That row of buildings right there. But if you walk inside the top floor here, the Pizza Rizzo, there is one prop here that gives tribute to Walt Disney too. This is it right here. 18th Street Station, downtown in Brooklyn. Underpass to Uptown in Queens. See the WD? Walt Disney. Awesome. That's it. And everything we just did was a part of the backstage studio tour section of the park map. In the next section they called the Backstage Annex and the Lakeside Circle of Echo Lake. That's where we're going to be heading to now. A lot of restaurants over in this area. Most of the other attractions were here. This was it. I'm telling you, not many attractions. But let's head over and see what it had to offer and what's still there. By the way, there was no Star Tours. Star Wars was not in this park yet. Yeah, Star Tours did not open until 1990. It wasn't long. I believe it was like January. It's hard to remember a time when this wasn't here. I remember walking into this place as a kid, probably 93, I believe it was, and seeing this in front of me, I was like, oh my gosh, we're really in the movie. It has an impression on you. Yes, the Backlot Express restaurant was here opening day. Amazing. That's still here. This kind of restaurant does not get designed nowadays in theme parks. I'm glad they've kept it here. Now right here at the Mickey Shorts Theater, this was the Monster Sound Show. Sony presented it, and volunteers would help audio effects technicians add creepy sounds to an all-star haunted house mystery. After the show, you go over to Soundworks, which is the building next to it, where they have all the props, everything from the Mickey Shorts. And you could co-star with Roger Rabbit and hear yourself as an alien creature. So Monster Sound Show, and then this was Soundworks right here. Now it's the Mickey Pants door, but yeah, you would come in here. And they still have, behind these, I remember years ago, they still had the rooms. Like the door was right here for the room that you would go in, and you could record those sounds. I believe that's what they covered up with these. It used to be all back here. That's cool. I remember Dick Van Dyke and the Creole sisters were in here during the opening day special talking about what you were supposed to do in each room. And now it's the exit to the Mickey Shorts Theater. By the way, this is fantastic. I love this. The Mickey Shorts Theater, this whole thing, the photo ops with this. You gotta love it. Those Mickey Shorts are so good. That's why I do like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I wish we had a great movie ride, but I love Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I love those new Mickey Shorts. They had to grow on me, but they did. This was Superstar Television, where they would take you and place you in different TV shows using green screens. You could be in I Love Lucy, Gilligan's Island, even Home Improvement. It's crazy. It's been a lot of things since then. American Idol and Sounds Dangerous with Drew Carey. But it's all a part of this area, which is known as Echo Lake. Let's walk around Echo Lake and see how much has changed and what is still original from opening day. By the way, the gift shop at Star Tours was open on opening day. I didn't know that. It's called Indoor Traders, I believe. Yeah, they had a gift shop open before the attraction, so they knew. It just wasn't ready yet. And Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular was here opening day. This is like the last remaining opening day anything, besides like gift shops and stuff. As far as an attraction goes, and this was an attraction, this is it. Isn't that wild to think about? Love you, Indy. Yes, Dinosaur Gertie was here opening day. You could get your ice cream of extinction here. I remember seeing Gertie as a kid and was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. She still is cool. Now right there on Gertie's back where the you see the snow, it used to say ice cream in letters up there. And they removed that. I'm not sure why. By the way, the gift shop over to the left of the Hyperion Theater there for Frozen, it's a small gift shop. It's outside. That was called Golden Age Souvenirs. And you could get gifts from the Golden Age of radio, TV, plus other TV items and Disney Channel logo products. They were promoting the Disney Channel here, Gertie. Did you know that? And right across the way, the SS Down the Hatch. It's the Dockside Diner now. It used to be Min and Bill's Dockside Diner, and they had sandwiches, seafood salads, snacks, and beverages there. That's interesting. The Primetime Cafe sign is not rotating right here today, but this is an opening day restaurant and the Tune-In Lounge next to it. The restaurant straight ahead was called Hollywood and Vine. Now it is Minnie's Springtime Dining, and she also has different dinings that they do here with the characters. Right now it's Minnie's Springtime. It'll change for Christmas and different occasions, but it was always Hollywood and Vine, and it was always the all-you-can-eat, and this is it. It's been here since opening. And right above is Eddie Valiant. He's in the building 1928 there, which is a nod to Mickey's birthday. I talk about that all the time in my videos too. And right there next to Roger Rabbit, busting out of the window there, is Mr. Bob Weiss. He was a studio head. He basically made all this happen with Michael Eisner. He was head of the production team here and getting this place built, and the ideas and everything and Imagineering. I met him last year on the 35th anniversary. I can't believe it. Right across here, Maroon Studios, Peavy's was not here. And I know later on this would turn into different things, but it was Lakeside News when it first opened up, and they called this the Lakeside area of Echo Lake. So it makes sense. This is Lakeside News. It was a newsstand, and you could get comic books and stuff. And I think they had like old school magazines and stuff here too, of like yesteryear. But now it's Peavy's, a little tribute to the Rocketeer. Now everyone knows this is a part of the Keystone Clothers now, but did you know when this first opened, this Sights and Sounds is not just a nice little nod to Hollywood back in the day. No, this was an actual thing where you could go in and record your own music video, presented by Sella. I had no idea. I'm gonna have to look that up, because I've seen this You Ought to Be in Pictures sign so many times, but I had no idea this was a real thing here. So I guess that's what was in this building before they converted it over to be a part of the gift shop here. I wonder when that happened. This is where you would do all that, inside this gift shop here. I've shown this before, but I love it. This door I don't think goes to anything no more, but look at the acting and voice lessons. Buell and Pressum, Singer B flat, and Bill Moore, the account executive. We've finished some of Hollywood's finest. Checks not accepted. It's really cool that it was a real thing. This facade is a recreation of the Chinese Theater, originally built in 1928. It wasn't. That's a nod to Mickey's birthday. Let's talk about the Great Movie Ride. So at one point in the 80s, Michael Eisner was talking to someone in Imagineering, or someone, and the story goes that he said, I wish we could do like a great moments of the movies as like a pavilion here in Epcot, you know, where you go in and you go and see just like classic great moments in movie history. Well, some things happened and people said yes to things, and things were approved by the state and the city, and they filed permits and built an entire theme park based off an attraction that would be called the Great Movie Ride. And this was a part of the very first studio, real working studio in the state of Florida. They beat Universal Studios opening by a year. June of 1990, Universal Studios opened. May 1st, 1989, the Disney-MGM Studios opened. It was neck and neck there for a while. But inside this Chinese theater was the Great Movie Ride, and it was just that. It was a great movie ride. You would ride through classic scenes, starting off with the Busby Berkeley Girls, into Mary Poppins, into Gangster, into a Western scene. You would transport to outer space and see Alien. From Alien, you would go in and see Anubis. From Indiana Jones, where you would In one of those scenes, in the gangster scene and western scene, your car would get hijacked and the gangster or cowboy would take over your vehicle, and then obviously they, spoiler alert, they didn't make it in the Indiana Jones scene. Your tour guide would get back on the tram. You would go through Tarzan, Casablanca, Fantasia, and you would end in Wizard of Oz. And you did what you should do on the Great Movie Ride, end with finale inside a large screen theater showing scenes from classic movies. It had a great soundtrack, a great script. I was lucky enough to do a college program here, and I got to work it. It was a lot of fun. No longer affiliated with the Walt Disney Company, just as a pass holder and a huge fan. I love this place. Over the years, because of YouTube, I've gotten to know cast members, security guards, managers. People talk to me in the park. It's so cool. Security guard came up and said hello to me today. It's kind of interesting. I love it. All right, everybody, we have reached the end of our day here. Wanted to end it right here in front of the statue that you can actually see in Burbank next to Warner Brothers. The actual statue of this, the real one, is out in Burbank, right across from Warner Brothers. That's cool, they have one here. And this is the opening day plaque right here, May 1st, 1989, Michael D. Eisner. The world you have entered was created by the Walt Disney Company and is dedicated to Hollywood, and a place of the map, a state of mind that exists wherever people dream and wonder and imagine, a place where illusion and reality are fused by technological magic. We welcome you to a Hollywood that never was and always will be. Next month, Mickey, this place will be 36 years old. Hard to believe. What a fun day though, right? The weather was great. I got everything done. And I will see you guys on the next adventure where Michael Eisner and I actually give you an insider's look, a first look, if you will, on how exactly Disney trained a random bumblebee to fly around two kids who were shrunk by their dad. All that and more on the next episode. Until then, stay weird. Goodbye.